So for the past 4 weeks, we have been standing in front of the windows, one wall at a time. The east wall, which is the sunrise and the gold scattering that became the calling. The sons of promise, Reuben, Simeon, and Levi, the oldest sons, the failed ones, the ones grace transformed into something nobody expected. And then we had the west wall, the candelabrum in the dark, the weapons on the frontier, and the olive that never ran out. The sons of the wilderness, Dan, Gad, and Asher, the wilderness tribes, the cautionary and the warrior and the abundant. And then we went to the north wall, the one that would be above the ark, the sons of completion with the soft yellow and the most luminous window in the synagogue, and the ravenous wolf transformed by Damascus, Naphtali, Joseph, and Benjamin, and the light and the shadow and the beloved son exalted, and the predator that became the apostle. And then we moved to the south wall. The only window that Chagall signed, and the fish in the Red Sea, and the tribe that understood the times are the sons of the kingdom, Judah, Zebulun, and Issachar. The lion who is the lamb, and the crossroads to the missionary, and the wise ones in the tent. 4 walls, 12 windows, 12 colors, 12 stories. And today I want you to imagine something. Close your eyes if you want to. But imagine standing in the center of the synagogue in Jerusalem, not facing one wall in particular, not looking at 3 windows at a time, but standing in the exact center of the room, at the bema where the Torah is read, and slowly turning around. East wall, west wall, north wall, south wall. All 12 windows visible simultaneously. All 12 colors are present at once. The deep red of Judah, and the dark blue of Dan, and the soft yellow of Naphtali, the orange gold of Joseph, and the light green of Issachar, and the gray green of Asher, the blue of Benjamin, and the dominant yellow of Levi, and the red of Zebulun, and the blue purple of Simeon, and the haunting red blue of Reuben, and the warrior colors of Gad. All of them all at once. And the light coming through all 12 windows simultaneously, the jewels of translucent fire that Chagall described, filling the room with the totality of what each individual window only partially communicates. And that's the sermon today. We are standing in the center of the room. All 12 windows are visible. And we are asking the question the series has been building towards for 5 weeks. What does it look like when all 12 colors are present in one person simultaneously? What does the complete picture look like? In Colossians chapter 1, it says, "For in him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell." So today we have the fullness, the Christ who is the complete Israel. And again, it's all the fullness. Not a selection, not the best parts, not the 9 of the 12 tribes or 10 of the 12. The fullness, all of it, every single color, every window, every tribal blessing, finding its yes and amen in the one in whom all fullness of God was pleased to dwell. Today we see the complete picture. Jade, will you throw the next slide up? And before we go to the windows one more time, we need to hear what Jesus said about them, because Jesus said something about the entire Old Testament, including the tribal blessings, including the windows, including the 12 stories that we've been reading for 4 weeks, that changes how we see all of it. In Matthew 5, verse 17, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law and the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill." Not to abolish, but fulfill. The Greek word plerou means to fill up to the brim, to bring to completion, to make full what has been partial, to give the full expression to what was only partially expressed before. Jesus did not come to erase the 12 tribal windows. He came to be everything that they were pointing toward, to fill up what each window only partially communicated, to be the completed picture each individual was a facet of. Reuben's sunrise was pointing to him, the firstborn of all creation, in whom the full light never fades. Simeon's scattering pointed towards him, the one who scattered his presence through the Spirit into every nation and language and tribe. Levi's gold was pointing towards him, the high priest after the order of Melchizedek, whose indestructible life fulfills what the Levitical priesthood was always gesturing toward. Dan's candelabrum was pointing towards him, the light of the world that darkness cannot overcome. Gad's weapons were pointing towards him, the one one who arms his people with the full armor of God for the frontier fight. Asher's oil was pointing towards him, the bread of life and the living water whose sufficiency matches every day that it requires. Naphtali's dawn was pointing towards him, the light that dawned in the territory of shadows, in the land of Zebulun and Naphtali, on the people who walked in darkness. Joseph's abundance was pointing towards him, the beloved son who went into the pit and came up to the right hand, who saved the brothers who sold him, who washed his garments in blood of the grape. Benjamin's wolf is pointing towards him, the one who hunted the hunter in Damascus, and on that road transformed the most ravenous predator into the most tireless apostle. Judah's lion was pointing towards him, the Lion of Judah who conquered by becoming the Lamb, whose scepter did not depart until he came, and the nations brought their obedience. Zebulun's fish were pointing towards him, the one called the fishermen from the crossroads territory and sent them in to draw from the depths of every nation and to call all peoples to the mountain. Issachar's tent was pointing towards him, the one who understood the fullness of time and knew exactly what to do, who rode the Issachar donkey into Jerusalem at precisely the right moment of precisely the right season. All 12 windows with one face. I've not come to abolish, but to fulfill. And Chagall said that he imagined the windows as jewels of translucent fire. 12 jewels or 12 fires, each one burning with a different color, each one letting through the same light but through a different color of glass. The light that passes through Judah's red window is the same light that passes through Naphtali's soft yellow and Asher's gray-green and Benjamin's deep blue. It's the same source, but we have different colors, we have different histories, we have different blessings and failures and transformations, but the same light making all 12 of them visible. Paul says it in Colossians 1 with a breadth that still staggers me every time I read it, that he is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. For by him all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through him and for him. And he is before all things, and in him all things hold together. And he is the head of the body of the church. He is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in everything that he might be preeminent. For in him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell, and through him to reconcile himself all things, whether on earth or in heaven, making peace by the blood of his cross. The firstborn of all creation. Reuben's window fulfilled. The sunrise that never fades. All things were created through him and for him. The Joseph window fulfilled. The yellow-orange abundance of the one through whom and for whom all things exist. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. The Levi window fulfilled. The high priest who holds the entire created order together in the gold of his priestly intercession. He is the head of the body of the church. The Judah window fulfilled. The Lion who is the Lamb, whose authority over the body is authority of the one whom the scepter eternally belongs. The firstborn from the dead. The Benjamin window fulfilled. The one who was hunting the ravenous wolf was himself the firstborn from the dead, the one whose resurrection life transforms everything that it encounters. And in him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell. All 12 windows simultaneously, every color, every tribal blessing, every facet of the divine character that the 12 sons of Jacob were assigned to represent, gathered into one person in whom the fullness dwells. And through him to reconcile himself to all things, making peace by the blood of his cross. The Judah window and the Zebulun window and the Simeon window all at once. The blood of the covenant. The fish called from every sea. The scattering that becomes the ministry of reconciliation. All things, all 12 windows, one fullness, one blood, one peace. In Revelations 5, John is in the throne room of heaven. And he sees a scroll that's sealed with 7 seals. And in the right hand of the one seated on the throne, and a mighty angel proclaims, "Who is worthy to open the scroll and break its seals?" And no one in heaven or on earth or under the earth is found worthy. And John weeps. And one of the elders says to him, "Weep no more. The Lion of the tribe of Judah," Chagall's sign window, the deepest red, the most significant panel, the Lion of the tribe of Judah has conquered, and he has opened the scroll. And John turns to see a lion, and behold, a lamb is standing as though slain. And the lion is the lamb. The Judah window is complete. The scepter that shall not depart from Judah arrived at its ultimate holder. The one to whom obedience of the peoples belongs is standing at the center of the throne room, holding the scroll that contains the destiny of all creation. And then the song. And they sang a new song, saying, "Worthy are you to take the scroll and open its seals, for you were slain, and by your blood ransomed people for God from every tribe and language and people and nation. And you have made them a kingdom and a priest to our God, and they shall reign on earth." Notice what it says. Every tribe. Not 12 tribes. Not the 12 sons of Jacob. Every tribe. Every language, every people, every nation. The 12 windows of the Apple Synagogue in Jerusalem are not the end of the story. They're actually the beginning of it. The 12 tribes of Israel were the prism through which the light of God was first refracted into the world. 12 colors, 12 facets, 12 jewels of translucent fire, and the light that passed through those 12 windows kept moving. Through the apostles and the martyrs and the church across every century and every culture and every language. It's the same light with new windows, with new colors, new facets through which the fullness that dwells in Christ is refracted into the world. Until John saw it in the throne room, every tribe, language, and people and nation, not 12, but every. The light that began with 12 windows filling the room of the synagogue in Jerusalem has filled the whole earth with the same light through every culture that has received it, and every language that has spoken it, and every person who has made a window for it. Ransomed for God from every tribe, made kingdom and priest. The Levi window fulfilled at an extremely cosmic scale. The entire redeemed humanity made a royal priesthood. The kingly calling of Judah and the priestly calling of Levi gathered into every person who has been ransomed by the blood of the Lamb. And they shall reign on earth, not escape the earth, they shall reign on it. The Zebulun vocation, calling the peoples to the mountain because the eternal vocation of the redeemed is still going out. It's still drawing from the riches of the deep. It's still inviting on a renewed earth under an open heaven with the dwelling of God with humanity forever. And then we have the word that became the window. Before I close, I want to take you to the text that holds the entire series together, and it's John 1. And in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and He was in the beginning with God. And all things were made through Him, and without Him there was not anything made that was made. And in Him was life, and His life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Notice what it says. In the beginning, the same words as Genesis chapter 1. John standing at the east wall of the entire biblical narrative and saying, the light that the 12 windows were always refracting was here before the windows even existed. Before the tribes were born, before Jacob spoke blessings, before Chagall picked up his brush, the light was already here. It was with God and it was God. And then the most extraordinary statement in the entire prologue, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And we have seen His glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and of truth. The Word became flesh and dwelt, tabernacled. He pitched a tent among us, the Issachar window, the white tent of the center of the light green of the season turning. The word for tent in the Greek is skene. This is the word for the tabernacle of Israel. It is a mobile dwelling of the divine presence in the wilderness. And now the Word was in the beginning with God. The source of all the light that has ever passed through any window has pitched His tent among us. The fullness that Chagall was trying to paint across 12 windows has become a human face. The 12 colors gathered into one person who walks among us and says, I am the light of the world. I am the bread of life. I am the true vine. I am the good shepherd. I am the door. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life. All 12 windows, one I am. The tent of Issachar pitched in the midst of the people. The light of Naphtali's dawn arriving in the territory of shadows. The abundance of Joseph's harvest filled, offered to everyone who is hungry without price. The authority of Judah's lion laid down so the invitation of Zebulun's fish can go out to every nation. The priesthood of Levi's gold completed in the one who is priest forever. The sunrise of Reuben's window sustained by the one whose rising never ends. because we have seen his glory, full of grace and truth, and the fullness dwelling in him. The truth is, you're a window. Each person in this room, each person listening online, you are a window. 4 weeks ago, I said something that I want to return to now that you've all seen the 12 windows. You are a window. The light that passes through you is not generated by you. You are not the source, you are the glass. The jewel of translucent fire, the colored pane through which the same light that created the universe and dawned on Naphtali's territory and rose from Joseph's pit and transformed Benjamin's woof, is refracted into the specific corner of the world where you are placed. Every window in the synagogue is different. There's a different color. There's different imagery. There's different thickness of glass, different history of the tribe that it represents, and the light that passes through each window is colored by the specific character of that specific window. The light of Christ passes through you differently than it passes through anyone else, because you are not anyone else. You are the specific window that you are, with your specific history of failure and transformation, your specific tribal calling, your specific combination of the Reuben sunrise and the Levi gold and the Issachar understanding and the Gad frontier and the Joseph pit and the Benjamin Damascus road. No other window refracts the light exactly the same way that you do, which is why the world needs your specific window. The window that thinks, not the window that it thinks it needs, not the most prominent window or the most luminous window or the window that Chagall signed, yours. The specific colored glass of your specific story refracting the specific facet of the light of Christ that only your history and your character and your formation can refract. Paul says in 2 Corinthians 3 that we, with unveiled face, begin beholding the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image, one degree of glory to another. From one degree of glory to another. The transformation is not finished. You are not the final version of the window that you will become. The light keeps working on the glass. It keeps shining through. The firing keeps happening. The colors keep deepening. The clarity increases. From one degree of glory to another. The 12 windows of the synagogue are not the end of what Chagall was trying to say. They are the beginning of what the Spirit has been doing since Pentecost in every window of every life that has been given to the refraction of the light of Christ. You were jewels of translucent fire. Each of you, each of us. 12 colors and more, every tribe and language and people and nation, the light coming through all of us simultaneously, filling the room and world with the totality of what each individual window only partially communicates. So for a moment, I want you to close your eyes and stand in the middle of the room. I want you to think and turn slowly. At East, we saw the Reuben sunrise never fades, that Simeon's scattering that became a presence, that Levi's gold of the priesthood that was always pointing towards the one whose indestructible life fulfills it. And then we turn west and we see Dan's candelabrum, the warning and the invitation to keep the light. Gad's weapons, the call on the frontier fight with the full armor of God, Asher's olive oil, and the daily sufficiency whose strength matches every day in what it needs. And then we turn north to Naphtali's soft yellow dawn, breaking over the territory of shadows. Joseph's overwhelming yellow-orange, the beloved son in the pit at the right hand, and the ram's horn of salvation sounding it. And Benjamin's deep blue woof transformed by the Damascus light into the apostle of grace. And then finally we turn south to Judah's sign window, the lion who is the lamb. The blood of the vine, the scepter that became the cross. Zebulun's fish in the Red Sea and the covenant invitation. And Issachar's white tent in the green and the season turning. And the tribe that understood the time. All 12, all at once, all at full intensity. The room full of light of all 12 windows. This is Christ. For in him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell. The firstborn of Reuben, not unstable but eternal. The scattered presence of Simeon, not a curse but spirit. The gold of Levi, not earned but given by the high priest who lives forever. The light of Dan, not extinguished but inextinguishable. The warrior of Gad, not with weapons of this world, but with the armor of God. The oil of Asher, not from the olive grove, but from the bread of life. The dawn of Naphtali, not fading, but still breaking over every shadow that looms in the world. The abundance of Joseph, not just the harvest filled, but the body broken and the blood poured out. The transformation of Benjamin, not just Damascus, but every road where the ravenous is hunted by grace. The Lion of Judah, not just the scepter, but the cross. Not just the blood of battle, but the blood of a covenant. The fish of Zebulun, not just the sea of Galilee, but every sea, every nation, every language. The understanding of Issachar, not just the fullness of time in Galilee, but the eternal wisdom that knows what every moment requires. All 12, but again, one person. And in him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell. And he became flesh, and he pitched his tent among us. And we have seen his glory, full of grace and full of truth, full of all the fullness. The 12 windows of the synagogue in Jerusalem are jewels of translucent fire, and the light that passes through all 12 of them is the same light. It was in the beginning. It dawned in Galilee. It died on Golgotha. It rose on the third day. It ascended to the right hand, and it was poured out at Pentecost. And it's still passing through every window that it's ever made. Every life that it's ever transformed. Every tribe that's ever been redeemed. Every wolf that is hunted and turned. Every dawn broken over every shadow. Refracted into the world through the specific colored glass of the specific story of every specific person who has become a jewel of translucent fire. And it will fill the room of the new creation, wherein every tribe and language and people and nation gathers around the throne of the Lamb and sings, "Worthy is the Lamb who was slain, to receive power and wealth and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing." All 12 windows in one light, one Lamb, worthy. Next week and the weeks that follow, Holly and I are going to do something different. We're going to take the colors of these windows, yellow, orange, red, blue, green, violet, and we're going to work with them together. One color at a time, 1 week at a time. You're going to learn your color, your specific window, the specific facet of light that Christ can only refract in you. And at the end, hopefully you will see the beauty of all these colors working together as they shine the light of Jesus, because the series does not end today. It becomes something that you will carry home and work and add to week by week until the image is complete. The only thing that I ask is to remember that you're a jewel of translucent fire. So start burning.